In St. Luke's Gospel, chapter 6, verse 38, again, the NIV. Notice what the word tells us here. The Lord Jesus said this. He said, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you again. Why is this important? Because that's the way the kingdom works. The system of this world is to hoard. Hoard it. Store it up for yourself so others don't get before you. But the more they do it, the more they're frustrated about their lack, the more they're frustrated about their loss. Even those who are regarded as maybe very wealthy, a lot of them go through a lot of challenges. A lot of challenges, terrible things. The world doesn't offer such wonderful life. No. If they were at peace, they wouldn't want to reduce the population of the world. But they want to do it. They're not at peace. So, again, look at this verse. It says, give and it will be given to you. Something interesting about this verse, in the King James translation, it says something which many of us actually do emphasize, but it's not really in the original. I'll show it to you. Give and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over shall men give into your bosom. Actually, the word men isn't in the original. It's really not there. But why is it there in the King James translation? Well, it's there because the translators figured God will do it through human beings. But I find that that's placing a limitation on God. Maybe we should translate it exactly as it is in the original. Because God's wiser for speaking like that. In the original, it doesn't add men. What you see in several other translations, like the NIV I just read to you, is more accurate, doesn't include the word men. So we'll read it again. It says, give and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. Another translation for that same word is bosom. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Now that's significant because when you give to God or into the work of God, that's how to give to God. You give to God by giving into his work. Now, when you give like that, whatever that measure represents to you is how God measures back your return. That's what he just said to you. What does your giving represent to you? What's the greatness? What's the value of what you gave to you? To you. Now, that's not the same thing as according to what you have. It's not just according to what you have. What do you have really? It begins with your mind. It starts with your mind. For example, if I say to you, look around you and tell me what you see, every one of you will come up with something different because of how we see. There are things you would see, you're not going to mention them because you don't think they matter. Your perception. So if I say to you, what do you have? I wonder what you're going to say. For example, when God said to Moses, what do you have in your hand? He could have passed the rod from one hand to the other and said, I don't have anything. He was holding a rod. He could have thought, I don't have anything, pass it to the other one and say, I don't have anything in my hand. But he was smart. He said, a rod. He's trying to tell God, this is nothing. It's a rod I have. God said, all right, put it on the ground. He put it on the ground, it turned to a serpent. The Bible says Moses fled from it. And God said, take it up by the tail, turn back to a rod. And God said, with this rod, you perform miracles. Amazing. Imagine that you're holding this stick. I said, what do you have in your hand? And we're talking big things. You're not going to think the stick is anything. So when you say, according to what you have, what do you have? You think it's talking about the notes, the currency you have? Is he talking about your shoes? Is he talking about your car? Is he talking about your... What do you have? Suddenly you realize that you're thinking about what you have really depends so much on you. What do you think is of value? When you give to God, what does it represent to you?